All right. Here's a term I devised and configured that's blown up in a Facebook group I belong to. Has been Hotel Helloverse Facebook group, to be more specific. It really touched a nerve, and you know what? I'm glad it did because it needed to be said. It was accompanied by an illustration AI generated through ChatGPT. And the term in question is Salem Judge. And I'm going to read off the definition for you. Salem Judge, opposite of Salem Witches. Noun, defined as a person who loudly insists they would have been a quote-unquote Salem Witch, heretic, or rebellious outsider during the 1600s, yet behaves exactly like the actual judges and moral gatekeepers who condemned innocent people to death. A Salem judge is convinced they're the oppressed visionary in the story, but in modern debates, they act as the self-appointed arbiter of what knowledge, art, technology, or beliefs are allowed. They proudly gatekeep, shame, and accuse others of heresy, all while claiming to be champions of freedom, rebellion, or speaking truth to power. In reality, they mirror the same fear-based, closed-minded, and punitive mindset that fueled the original Salem witch trials. These trials primarily targeting women, the socially vulnerable, and anyone who did not conform. Characteristics of a Salem judge. For one, claims they'd be a witch in 1692, but in 2025 or 2026, behaves like Cotton Mather with Wi-Fi. They gatekeep everything. Creativity, technology, opinions, knowledge, identity, etc., while pretending to be anti-authoritarian. They accuse others of stealing, corrupting, or ruining society the moment someone challenges their worldview. Demonizes anything new, especially as it pertains to AI, artificial intelligence, large language models, art styles, music, ideas, treating innovation like heresy, or unconventional ideas for that matter, within a given community. Talks about protecting the community, but really just wants to control it, thereby turning it into a conunity. Loves to mob up with fellow pearl clutchers and perform moral outrage. Usages. Patricia thinks AI art is witchcraft and calls anyone who uses it a thief. She also says she would have been a witch in Salem. Nope, she's a full-on Salem judge. Patricia, as a side note, probably also uses the many multitude of AI features on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or whatever other social media platform comes about, while not thinking twice about it. Dude, you can't call yourself a rebel if you're the one starting the modern day witch hunts. Stop being a Salem judge. Origin. A term pointing out the irony that those who fantasize about being persecuted witches would have statistically and behaviorally been the accusers, judges, or church ladies clutching their pearls at the trials. The more someone claims they would have been a victim of Salem, the more likely they're acting like the ones who lit the fires. And yeah, what more can be said other than, AI is theft? Well, one, it's legal. Two, when they accuse me of being a thief, they never stop to ask what the nuances are and how I approach the medium. They never ask questions like, do you consider yourself a musician? For example, I run a channel called The Omni Gloves. I have done so since June of 2024, where I largely use covered submissions of obscure, keyword is obscure, video game music and other music that has largely gone by the wayside. Some as old as 70 years, 80 years. And I vet it to make sure that other covers of it, more recent especially, haven't been made. Does that always work? Not. Usually it does, but periodically I'll get a notification from YouTube. Like, for one example I can think of off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly the specifics, but 4 to 6 months after I published a video with music, I received a notification through the algorithm on YouTube of a similar cover that had been done, say, like 8 years prior, that I never knew existed when I did my own searches. It's weird. It's out of my control, but nevertheless, I'm a paying member of Suno. I'm a premium user, and something I enjoy doing. And above and beyond all else, it's for me. I am creating my own online jukebox, one that I can listen to and enjoy when I go out for walks when the weather warms, since it is January right now, and we just underwent a massive snowstorm, a generational snowstorm, in fact. The likes of which we haven't seen since 2010, but that's beside the point. When the weather warms, I like to go out and walk, exercise, listen to music while I do so. It also helps me think. AI also helps me think. It stimulates my creative juices. Creative juices I haven't really used prior to 2024, prior to 2024, prior to 2022, 2023, when I was first introduced to ChatGPT, then subsequently to Suno and Udio, before Udio became a walled garden, quote unquote. Creative juices that I haven't really tinkered with since my college years. I graduated in December of 2007, and my creative compulsions and urges have kind of gone by the wayside in the near 20 years since. But thanks to AI and thanks to LLMs such as Grok and ChatGPT, in addition to doing my own due diligence and research, of course, I'm able to, get some things facilitated, most of which are things that I've conceptualized and thought about for years, like these definitions, for example. Many of them. This one is more recent. This one came about as a result of interactions I've had with people who, in real life, I would want nothing to do with. And, to be fair, they want nothing to do with me. So, c'est la vie. It is what it is. That having been said, it's almost as though your garden variety human being, your garden variety Homo sapien, is incapable of living and let living. Especially when they think that you're the devil, or you're a demon, or you're an awful, horrible, evil human being, a thief, taking advantage of a platform that you're paying for, that was made available to you, and instead of hating what's the expression? Instead of hating on the game, although they do that too, they hate the player too. They victimize the player and gaslight them and make them feel small. And on that Has Been a Hotel group, there's quite that's comprised of over 300,000 members, 321 last I checked. There are quite a few toxic elements on there, toxic people. And the people who get shamed and, derided for using AI art. And then again, admittedly, a lot of it isn't that good. But, this isn't a competition. This isn't a tournament. It's just people expressing themselves however they feel to do so. Leave them alone. They leave you alone. But these people that are being shamed, they cower, and it gets to them. Well, all it does to me is just galvanizes me and makes me a bigger prick. You thought I was an asshole before. Brother, sister, non-binary, whatever you are. You will encounter an asshole if you continue to poke this proverbial bear. I will become the thing you despise. I will become, in fact, the thing you fear. If, it really comes. Because I've heard tales from some members, I won't mention names, obviously, to protect their privacy, of them being doxxed. That's how severe and intense this persecutorial, I just made that word up, I don't give a shit, hatred has gotten by these Salem judges, by these despicable, virtue-signaling viruses, garbage pail human beings. So, Salem Judge, word of the day, term of the day, in Tibrious's Glossary of Terms. Thank you.